So after waiting for what feels like ages, my GameCube Retroid Pocket 5 is finally here. So in this video, I just wanted to give some quick impressions of this new handheld. I should say new, it's actually been out for a while and I had to wait quite a bit since other people got it to get mine, but I definitely think that wait was worth it, especially with this amazing color. I'm going to give my impressions on the handheld, talk about what I like about it and what I don't like, because I do have a few complaints with it, unfortunately, but generally speaking, I do love the handheld so far, but I don't want to get into any of that yet. First, I'm going to show you guys me getting it out of the box. So it comes with that standard Retroid box. It looks really nice, feels really premium compared to what you get with other brands. And of course, this handheld does come in after shipping and taxes. It's somewhere around $240, $245, somewhere like that for an American US dollars. And if you're interested in checking this handheld out, I'll put a link down below in the description. It'll be an affiliate link. It comes at no extra cost to you to use, but it helps support the channel when you buy it through there. So getting it out of the box, we have the handheld itself, you can see, and the only accessories it comes with is the charger, and we also have this little sheet, which I couldn't really call a manual, but it just gives you the specs and a general overview of the handheld, and that's it. There's no screen protector, but the charger does feel a bit premium because there's a Retroid logo on it, so it is a bit bare bones. But if you want something like a screen protector or a dock or something like that, you can just buy them separately. So that's kind of Retroid's business model. I don't think it's too big of a deal. I personally don't use screen protectors much anyway, so to me I don't care, but I know for some people that might be a bit annoying having to buy it separately. And now the most exciting part, finally getting the handheld out of its bag, and you can see here is my GameCube Retroid Pocket 5. So just first impressions with the Retroid Pocket 5, it feels super solid and definitely seems a bit more modern than Retroid's other handhelds. They were definitely going in this direction with the 4 Pro, but with the 5, I feel like it really feels nice and modern, something that some people might actually not like if they like the more old school look you might have gotten, definitely much more so with the 2 and the 2S, but I actually am a really big fan of this, especially with the GameCube colorway. I don't have a GameCube controller here to compare it with, but you can, I'm sure, see the similarities, and for the people that have actually compared these to GameCube controllers, it seems like the general consensus is that it's very, very similar except for the green button. It could be tinted a little bit different, but I would say generally speaking, without comparing it to a GameCube controller side by side, it looks pretty spot on to me. And just feeling the handheld, it's really nice. You have the standard Retroid controls, you have your Hall sticks, which feel really good once again. Of course, the yellow stick on the right is a nice addition. The D-pad is that standard Retroid D-pad, which I've really come to like. There were some clicky D-pads that I didn't like in the past, and I still don't like today, but I think Retroid really does it well. It's not too hard to hit diagonals when you want to, which can be the case with some clicky D-pads, but if they decided to go with a more mushy feeling D-pad, oftentimes the accidental diagonals can be too much, and it can be annoying in certain games hitting diagonals when you weren't even intending to. So in my opinion, this is a really great D-pad. Your ABXY buttons are good. They're nothing phenomenal, but they get the job done. I don't really have any big complaint about them at all. And again, I love the standard Retroid shoulder and trigger feel. The shoulders are nice, have a little click, and you have analog triggers, so all is well in that department. And when it comes to the ergonomics, again, it's very, very comfortable. It seems like here Retroid is making more of an effort to have the handheld be more comfortable. Compared to the 4 Pro, in my opinion, the Retroid Pocket 5 is much more comfortable. On the back of the 4 Pro, it was just completely flat. You had nowhere to rest your fingers that weren't using the triggers or the buttons. It was, in my opinion, fairly uncomfortable, not unusable or something that bad, but now you have a much more ergonomic, comfortable design, which I'm definitely a fan of. You also have a little bit of the texture on the grips, which feels very nice. I'm not sure how much it really does help with the grip, but either way, it makes it feel a bit more premium and just feels nice. The one thing that I will say that I actually dislike about the Retroid Pocket 5, others have pointed this out, so it's not just me. I know there is some disagreement among some people. Probably what games you typically play on these does change how you feel about it. For me, when I'm using a handheld like the Retroid Pocket 5 or some other high-powered Android handheld, I'm going to be playing very little that's below the PS1. So typically what I'll be playing, I'll be using the sticks pretty much all the time, and the D-pad not as much. And for me, and I would assume most people, when you're holding the handheld, just naturally your thumbs are going to go up top. Trying to push them down, holding it in a more neutral position just feels a little bit uncomfortable to me. It's not like you can't do it or it hurts or anything, it's just not as comfortable and as natural feeling to me to constantly be having to have my thumbs down here on the sticks when the stick could be up top in the D-pad's position. So in my opinion, it would be much better to switch the left stick in the D-pad. I don't know why Retroid hasn't at least experimented with this. I would really love it, especially if they just wanted to appease certain people, if they made two different models, one with the stick up top and one where it is currently. I know that would definitely take more time. I don't think there would actually be any problem in doing it, but for whatever reason, this is their design, and I'm okay with it. I would just definitely much prefer the stick to be up top. For example, the Anbernic RG556 is definitely the most comfortable handheld that I've ever used. No doubt about it. The RG556 is perfect, and I think a big reason is because the left stick is up top. There's definitely other reasons. The grips are super big, very nice feeling, it just fits in my hand well, and I think I could say that much more so about the Retroid Pocket 5, again with that switch. I'm not going to harp on this anymore, but it's just a little bit of a pain to me because it's like a handheld so good like the Retroid Pocket 5. It's just made a bit worse because of this design choice. Other people have pointed it out, other people have complained. I know there's no unanimity here, but I would just love it if maybe for the Retroid Pocket 6 they made two versions if they wanted to appease both sides of this debate, or just decided to go out on a limb and only have the stick up top and not have a D-pad up top model. I don't know, just to me it's not what I would want on a handheld like this. If I'm going to play something that is D-pad centric, I'm just going to use my Mew Mini Plus or one of my H700 Anbernic handhelds. Nothing else major really needs to be mentioned about the handheld itself. We of course have our home button, our back button, start and select up top. On the bottom we have our headphone jack, USB-C port, micro SD card slot, and then up top we have our power button and our volume buttons, and that's it. So I'm sure you're aware also about the screen, that it's really good. So we have a very good screen here. It's of course an OLED screen. I can't praise the screen enough. I remember when it was first announced, and certain videos were coming out from the Retroid Pocket Mini, and then I think the Retroid Pocket 5 came afterwards, but they both have similar OLED screens, and people were saying about both that the promo videos Retroid was releasing actually looked like the gameplay was not even being played on there and was just being imposed upon the screen through a video editor or something. Obviously no one really thought that was the case, but it really just looked that good. And definitely my recordings aren't up to par, so even compared to other reviewers they're not as good, but I'll just say no video I've ever seen does justice to how good the Retroid Pocket 5 screen looks in real life. It's just really that good. It's one of those things where you might play it and get used to it after enough time and not realize how good it looks, but then putting it side by side with a handheld like the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, and I'm not sure how much it's going to come across on video, the difference is actually pretty stark in certain scenarios, and you can see just how nice the Retroid Pocket 5 looks. And it's not like I'm saying the 4 Pro screen is bad or anything, but it's just a testament to how good the 5 screen is. I know some people have preferred the black model. The screen melts more into the black body, especially if you're playing some game with bezels, and you don't get that effect here on the GameCube model because of course you have the bluish body instead of the black one. To me that wasn't that big of a deal, and it was worth it to get this color. Originally I had the white color, and then I decided to switch over to the GameCube because I just wanted to take a risk, and it paid off. It still looks great, and it's fun to play some GameCube with the GameCube Retroid Pocket 5. So getting into the emulation, this isn't going to be some full in-depth review, and even if I was, I wouldn't have a whole lot to say. I mean, everything up to Wii is going to be perfect. You're going to be able to upscale to 1080p on GameCube. You're going to be able to go up pretty high on Wii. In certain PS2 games, both Wii and PS2 I would say, you're going to be able to go up to 3x or 4x on a lot, but certain games might be a bit tougher than others, and you might need to go down a bit lower. And for me, often I just play games at a native resolution anyway, so if you're someone that doesn't care about upscaling, I wouldn't say you'd have to worry about anything on here at all. It's going to play everything up to Wii perfectly, but if you're someone that needs the highest amount of upscaling, certain games are not going to be able to go up as high as the screen could handle with good performance, so it's not perfect in that regard. And when it comes to more challenging emulation, for example Wii U and Switch, it can handle some games, not perfectly, but pretty good. And it's going to be the same case with Switch that many others say. It's going to be those lower end games, platformers, maybe RPGs, other light 2D games, but the higher end stuff, a lot of the games that many people would want to emulate are going to be out of range for Switch, unfortunately. And of course it's an Android handheld, so Android gaming is going to be good on here. It can handle quite a bit. You can do some game streaming on here as well if you're interested in that. I tried to do a bit of Microsoft Flight Simulator on here, which I'm new to, and it wasn't really a great idea anyway, I think, on these controls, but you can do stuff like that if you're interested, of course. And again, with the controls, I might not prefer to play like an FPS with these sticks just because of the placement. In general, generally I don't like playing those kind of games on a handheld anyway, but you could if you wanted to. So overall, first impressions, not trying to do too many comparisons, which I might make a few comparison videos going forward. So overall, I'm just in love with my Retroid Pocket 5. It's an amazing handheld, and I really think it's a step forward for Retroid. I hope they can continue this next year. I'm interested to see what they'll innovate on. Hopefully they can get some more performance, not go too much up in price, but we'll really see. There's definitely still some gripes I have here. For example, I mentioned the sticks, not to mention the glossy front is kind of a fingerprint magnet. It's not horrible, but you know, I don't love that. When it's not collecting fingerprints though, I do think it looks really nice, so I'm still kind of torn on it, and maybe I'll come around to it. So yeah, the Retroid Pocket 5, especially the GameCube edition, just looks really great. It feels really great. I'm sure this is going to be one that's going to be used for me and for a lot of others for a long time. It's just a super solid handheld at a good price, coming in at about $220, again after shipping and tax. For Americans, I think you'd expect to pay $240, $250, somewhere in that range. So if you're interested in buying the Retroid Pocket 5, I'll put a link down below in the description. Again, it'll be an affiliate link. It comes at no extra cost to you, but it really helps support the channel, makes it so I can buy more handhelds like these. So if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.